Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Becoming Wellness. So, today I'd like to begin a series because I've been working on this video for the better part of a week. And the topic of this particular video is relationship building. And I feel like I could exhaust volumes. I'm sure many of us could exhaust volumes about this rich topic of relationships. And as on a planet-wide scale, we move into a focus on relationships. This is the mature soul revolution for all of you Michael students out there who are familiar with the Michael teachings, then you know what I'm talking about. But this this topic of relationships really hit home on a personal level, like this past week or so, as I'm reflecting on my own personal building of a relationship. So, to give a little background, I didn't grow up in a very healthy relationship environment. My parents essentially hated each other. It was not the fun part, and I was conceived, this body at least was conceived in an energy that was something akin to a hostile takeover. And a lot of us are born into God knows what different scenarios and situations for our own spiritual growth. For me, I was like, dear God, why, why and why? But fast forward to now, like, well, I guess a little bit more like in my 20s or whatever, in the early 30s, it was relationships, particularly the intimate variety, they were hostile. They were, my dad was very hostile to my mother, and I found myself duplicating, these men who wanted to just take me over and conquer me and screw me and nail me to the wall and all these sorts of things where I just had to just push the pause button and come off the market, so to speak, altogether because it was just such an unhealthy experience. And I'm like, gee, I'm tortured. I'm ripped, torn, and shredded, and never mind what's going on with my heart. Let's just look at how my body is responding to these sort of rape-like scenarios that I had put myself in. Like, I can't even take myself out of responsibility for the situations that I was in. Older and wiser now, I realize that it's my energy that attracts my relationships. And having been born in this hostile takeover type of environment, that's what was encoded in my DNA. And so I'm like, ooh, all kinds of prayer and working with the angels and energy work and IST and all these things just to try to dig through. Yes, DNA can be altered. Thank God. Otherwise, I would be screwed for the remainder of this lifetime. But change is possible. So I do want to put that message out there that those of you who may feel like your relationship situation is absolutely hopeless, it's not. But back to the realization that my energy is what ultimately attracts relationships into my universe. And this was like a big deal because I'm like, okay, I've done all this work, I've done all this healing, I've gotten coaching, I've given coaching, and and just listen to my coaching clients talk about their relationships and go, wow, perspective. So all of these things have culminated in my desire now to uh, paint a picture and change, take responsibility for the energy that I'm projecting in terms of relationship and change that and just make some shifts. It's like it's sort of like an energetic wardrobe. It's like, okay, let's put on a new costume here. Let's put on the healthy relationship costume instead of the men are scary because they hostilely take over and they just move in and poison me, or they shut me down, or whatever, whatever different forms of attack, whatever the attack of the day is. um I am moving into a healthier situation where first and foremost, where I consciously and with awareness define what I want this to look like. And the layers, just trying to discern. I had a fun time looking at some of my past relationships and seeing, the men who had the most impact on me in the past, say, 10 years or so, and pulling out characteristics from them. And I found honesty and integrity from one, physical support, because physically I'm not really all the hardiest, sturdiest. I'm kind of like the wispy 90-pound weakling kind of uh, embodiment. And I think that comes along with having a soul with a goal of a role of priest. And again, that's from the Michael teachings. If you want to know more, comment below. Um, but basically, that means I'm just all up in the clouds all the time, and my body doesn't manifest itself very heavily. So I have to work really hard to do grounding exercises and go out and break grass. Oh, dear God. And play in the dirt and stuff, which I hate. I would rather have a healthy sex life. I think it would be loads more fun than doing yard work. So I'm like, okay, how can we make this happen? But anyway, back to what goes in that picture. So I put in honesty and integrity. One relationship I had, the man was notable for his willingness to grow and to share that growth with others. And I said, okay, even if the man, my ideal mate, doesn't have this characteristic, he should at least be willing to support my wanting to go out and, help the world to come into a greater awareness of themselves and so on. And then the other one, of course, was that physical support. So I feel a lot more confident in being back on the market. And there were a lot of fears that came up for me as I was going through this process, where I was like, oh, wow, I am really afraid of men. I was like, okay, do I do this video about my pansexuality? And if you want to know what that is, comment below. Or do I do it about, just this process? Or, and as I was going through the process, I'm like, oh my God, everybody's just going to be totally confused. So I have to wait until I get some clarity and record the video. But I really wanted to start this relationship series off with, as we're becoming the wellness we seek, with sharing my own personal struggles and process of coming out of being acted upon in a relationship, and to really define what that healthy relationship means for me. And it really got down to an energetic level and a lot of other deeper issues. And I just wanted to share that with you all. Feel free to comment if you have questions about anything I've said. If you enjoyed the video, like it below, subscribe, click the bell if you want to know, because I know some of you guys are like, did you make another video? Not yet. So there's like a bell, like in the upper right hand corner, that you can click on so you know when I've made another video. And until next time, be well.